rock music's a funny thing. I mean, it carries with it the hint of immortality, which is sort of its lovely poison in a certain way. And so the thing is it allows you, it has allowed you to gather experience and to gather in years and at the same time to sort of to still get to the root of the energy, which is it's youth music. It still remains primarily, you know, even though it's sort of grown into this thing that crosses many generations. It was really, its energy was sort of formed in a youth movement, you know. So that's why that's part of its strange and somewhat distorting, but also lovely power, you know, is that it makes time stop for 3 minutes, you know. And when you hear that song, that whether it's an old song that you loved or a great new song, you know, it accomplishes the suspension of time, and encompasses in some strange way all your desires, all your hopes, all your dreams, all your fears, all of your passions. It rises to the surface. It's a hyper experience. This is pretty much the setup, I think. I had a little chair here. Mike was over there with this tape player.
And one January night in 1982, it was time to record.
The acoustics of this room.
Not bad. The orange shag carpet makes it really dead. You know, there's not a lot of echo, so...
Not just beautiful to look at.
Not only was it beautiful, it came in handy. I like to get on AM radio and blast it all across the United States, you know? It's like, you know, that's like, I love it, you know? It's like, I want to, you know, blast it into them housewives' kitchens, badlands, you know? It's like that's, you know... I always wanted Born to Run. That was the one thing I was always disappointed in. It was the only thing that ever mattered. I always wanted Born to Run to be like a big hit single, you know, and it never was. And now we got Badlands out, and like I like that song, and I wanted it, you know, I want it on that. When you get in that car, I want it, you know, and you hit that dial. Boom, 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 you know, it's like I want it, you know. I love it, you know. I never heard anything of my own on AM radio. So, yeah, you know, I like it a lot. There was something about staying close to those roots that I felt protected me, maybe protected some part of my music and my work. I was interested in writing about where I came from. I was interested in the people that were there. I wanted to continue writing about those subjects, and I felt that staying close to home kind of kept it very clear for me. In the early part of the tour, you tend to stick to the show that you've designed. Now, within that design, I'd say 20% of the material changes on a nightly basis, you know. But usually for the first leg, where you're trying to introduce people to the music, new music that you've written, and also you're trying to keep a narrative that runs through the show that is something that you want to talk about and sing about. The show tends to stay a little more rigid than it might 6 months from now, you know, or 3 months from now. But we always change everything. I always liked music that was where the singer sounded happy and sad simultaneously, you know. And I wrote about this a little bit in the memoir that I wrote, where I always loved the Drifters, Saturday night at the movies, up on the roof, under the boardwalk. For some reason, the singer always sounded hopeful, resigned, like he had his spirit, but sad at the same time, and you felt the whole world open up to you. So those are the kind of songs that I like, you know, and that I think hit the deepest, if you're lucky enough to be able to write one or a small group of them. And Letter to You kind of strikes that balance, and it's a record I'm really proud of. I'm proud of the writing and the playing on it. The musicians are transient.
There's got to be, you got to have some gypsy blood in you if you're going to be a musician. You better like traveling. I think most musicians need to move. You know, there's a restless part of your personality that needs to move from place to place. Certainly when I was young, I was captivated with the movement and the travel, and I didn't have a home, so it didn't matter where I was, you know. Then the mythic musician is, you know, got the suitcase, and it's the suitcase and the bus for the rest of your life, but you do reach a point in your life where you want a little bit more than that. I still enjoy traveling and moving from place to place, but it's nice to have a home too.
I've never met anybody who forgot who they were. You know, I've met people who run from who they were or from who they are, but I've never met anybody who forgot, you know. Those are things, that first 20 years of your life, there's nobody forgetting those. You know, that first 10 years, people aren't forgetting those. You know, they may decide to run from it, but you're not going to forget. You know, for me, I found that when I went to write and work, I constantly used my whole life.
I think the first time I heard a version of America that I believed in, that felt real, that felt like it was tactile to me, that I could touch and understand, was in Bob's music, you know. It held all the complexities, I thought, of being an American. And it electrified me and gave me a course to chart for my own music and the things I wanted to write about. So he really was, in that sense, the father of a lot of what I've created and written. Singers can have a wide range of, I mean, it can be John Lydon and the Sex Pistols, or have Dylan's voice or Neil Young's voice, all very, very unconventional voices. But they're people who simply inhabited their song deeply, deeply, and very, very well, so that when your audience heard you, you were convincing. You know, what you were singing about was believable and convincing. That's the key to a great singer. A great singer has to learn how to inhabit a song. You may not be able to hit all the notes, that's okay. You may not have the clearest tone, you may not have the greatest range, but if you can inhabit your song, you know, you can communicate. And there's plenty of people that do the other things well and will never be great singers, you know. So in rock music, you have to be able to personify what you're singing about.